Hey, it's Jeremiah Minner. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about some stick techniques. I know that you've practiced before, but I wanted to put on a little bit different flair to help you think about doing some things some different ways. So we'll start with a pattern that everybody knows. At least it's one of the first patterns that you learn if you're doing stick. So if you've been doing some stick, I'm confident that you know this pattern. Okay? It's a basic 6-count pattern. It's got a lot of different names. Almost all arts that are Filipino related have this pattern in it. There's a couple different ways to think about it. You can think of the strikes as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can think of them as high, 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 high. You can think of them as through, retract, through, retract. You can think of them as out of control, with control. Out of control, with control. It'll all get you back to the same locations and will be the way that this drill works. So the first variation that I wanted to talk about from that pattern is one that I know that you've practiced a lot if you've been doing Filipino martial arts for very long, or arnis for very long. And that is just changing your high, high, high pattern to a high, low, high, and then to a high, high, low, and finally to a low, low, low. Okay, so you've got your high, high, high. That can also be, of course, a high, low, high. It could also be high, low, low, high, low, low, or it could be low, 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 low. Okay, so I would suspect that a lot of you have worked those patterns before. Just a reminder, just something else to work. Okay, now for variation number 2. Again, I'm not going to be changing much on you at any point. So we're just going to be making one small change at a time and seeing kind of how that works out with hitting Bob, or with hitting a tree in your backyard, or with hitting a pad that you have at home. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to define this. This could also be a number 1 strike. So what I'm going to do is a double hit. And it's not going to be a double hit, just bang bang. I am going to have some traction and some flow in that hit. Okay, but if I look at the components of this drill, at least on the right-hand side, it's broken up into a right-hand side and a left-hand side. But if I'm looking at just the right-hand side, I start in this position, this closed position, and my hand's going to go from the right-hand side of my body to the left-hand side of my body. Okay, so all I'm doing there in this variation number 2 is I'm adding a double strike to each one of these strikes. Okay, so I'm coming in here, 1, hitting again. Again, all I did at the beginning is I started here and I ended here. All I did in the middle was add a second strike. Okay, now once I'm here, normally I would come from the right side of my body to the left side of my body and opening up. All I'm going to do here is add in a second strike. It's not going to be bang, bang, just tap, tap. I'm going to get some movement in it so that I can hit again. Okay, all I'm doing, adding in a circular redondo type strike for each one of these strikes. Okay, we can do that on the right and left hand side. Hope that makes sense. What I'm not doing is I'm not bringing it all the way around my head to do this. I'm not doing any sort of twisting or turning out here. All I'm doing is bringing it back, chambering again, hitting here, bringing it back, chambering it again, hitting, bringing it here, always rolling in front of me to get these second strikes. Okay, so that will be variation number 2. All right, variation number 3. What I talked about a few minutes ago was defining this on this right-hand side as starting from the right, ending on the left. Starting from the right, ending on the left, and then starting on the left, ending on the left. That would be the first half of this series. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in an extra strike, one extra strike. And what you'll notice is this one extra strike can get kind of confusing. So, if I'm defining this as high, 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 all I'm going to do is add in an additional strike in the first movement. The first movement defined as coming from this closed position with my right hand to a cross position with my right hand. Okay, that movement is no longer just going to be a single high strike. It can now be high, 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 low, low, high, or low, low. So, high, high, or high, low, or low, high, or low, low. Okay? That's all I'm doing is I'm adding one additional strike in this movement from here to here. So I could go high, high. Now, I just continue with the pattern. Or I could be high, low. Continue with the pattern. High, low. Continue with the pattern. Low, high. Continue with the pattern. Low, high. Continue with the pattern. Low, low. Continue with the pattern. Low, low. Continue with the pattern. Okay? That's all we're doing. Now, if you want to do another little variation, what we did is we defined that additional hit, that high, 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 low, high, or low, low, as being in the first movement. We could also do it in the second movement or the third movement. And what I mean by second or third movement is if this is movement number 1, that's where we just added it in. It could also be added here in movement number 2, okay? Or it could be added in here in movement number 3, okay? We just have to remember that those movements are defined as from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. Okay? And what we do in between each of those movements can be either 1 strike or 2 strikes or any other number of strikes. But that lets us continue this pattern to be able to continue the striking pattern and continue with the flow. Okay? So this is not hopefully changing the way that you look at sticks. All it's doing is helping you add an additional strike or 2 in there, changing the way that you flow. And that's always good because the more ways that we know how to flow with sticks, the better. If all we know is a single flowing pattern, then when that gets interrupted by either hitting something that doesn't move, or it gets interrupted by me hitting and losing a stick, or it gets interrupted by a wall, then I'm going to end up not being able to flow, not being able to protect myself, and not being able to use my sticks. So, hope you enjoy those 3 variations, and I hope to see you again soon at the dojo as we start to lift these restrictions for COVID-19. Have a great day.